social media has impacted the tourism industry and how the tourism companies have used social media. We will be going over how we have accumulated research and identified a problem, and then developed a leading question, and then using logical research, we came to a conclusion, a solution.
So the question we'll be answering today is, how can the tourism industry keep up with advances in social media technology?
A problem that we have identified is that the social media technology is rapidly advancing, and the tourism industry might not be keeping up. According to this chart right here in Data Portal, in 2012, 1.4 billion people worldwide use social media. Currently, in 2019, there are 3.725 billion using social media now. This rapid advancement in social media we can use to predict that it is going to be a further increase in the years, and that businesses will need to keep up in order to succeed. As of now, the tourism industry has used social media technology to further promote businesses, influencers, and persuade the way people travel. However, due to the rapid advancement of social media, the tourism industry would benefit from a marketing solution, also known as the influencer marketing strategy.
So the user data we use was collected from private companies, these social media companies who collect their own data. And this should mean they're more accurate, but that also means they can tamper anything they want, and we would have no idea. Also, a lot of people don't use social media. However, most of these people are either in poorer countries or of the older generation, which is not the target audience that we will define later. And differing opinions in social media exist. Some people see it as less professional and not a true source of information. Also, limitations of specific platforms exist. Like, for example, the app Snapchat is very inefficient for businesses, as there are limited discovery features.
We have taken on multiple perspectives of social media, and although there were many we could have chosen from, we chose these specifically because we found that they supported our argument the best, and they were the most relevant in terms of the topic. The first point of view we have is the business point of view, where the cost of social media isn't as where the cost of social media is significantly less than how businesses can benefit from it. Considering that creating a social media account is completely free, this opens up an avenue of free advertisement to an unlimited amount of people. Every time a business makes a post, it's a form of communication between the business and the audience. And in order to have efficient communication, a post needs to be engaging and entertaining for the audience. An example of a post like this is something along the lines of a post that Trivago did. They created a post with a picture of a bathtub surrounded in the open, surrounded by elephants, an abnormal photo, and the caption had information of the location that they were advertising, and they also had information about the entire country that they were talking about. Another way to reach a large amount of a large audience is to sponsor posts. A sponsored post is when a business pays an influencer, such as PewDiePie, who has a big role on social media, and giving them a specific code that allows viewers to save money when they spend money with the company. And this allows for the audience to be pressured from the influencer, and also attracted to the idea of saving money, creating a higher chance of them spending money with the company.
In the tourism industry, from an influencer point of view, vlogs and blogs are common uses of communication to communicate with their audience. As you can see from this chart right here, travel blogs take up 48% of travel channel subscriptions by format. A blogger claims from WERSM that vlogs allow people to take in real-life footage of the travel influencer's experience on the trip. They are usually more engaging to the audience as it allows the viewers to hear the stories of the influencer and take in account of relatability to the story. And a limitation to this claim was that since we did not know a lot about the blogger behind it, that they made a great point because it is more engaging to have videos for influencers in the travel industry, in the tourist industry to show their trips and document them and post them sooner to allow others to see. Back on what Michael said about partnering with businesses, this allows influencers to use the platforms they use, such as Instagram and Snapchat, and post places where they would go. This creates a sort of social pressure for the audience to see where they should go to.
For the common tourist, social media has an indirect and direct role in their travel destination. So, compared to conventional travel blogs and websites, social media or influencers are seen as more trustworthy. As Anna mentioned, their relatability is a key factor to this. Because they attach these ads of destinations to their faces and their experiences, people see it more as like a friend suggesting you to go somewhere than a sponsored blog post that wants you to go somewhere. Also, social media can bring out insecurities in people and social pressures. USC psychologists did a study where they linked use of social media to unhealthy social comparisons, like making people want to show off more or appearing as perfect as possible, which can make people want to go to trendy locations per se and like take photos to show off. This, when people hop on trends too much, it can lead to things like over-tourism, which has negative effects like environmental damage and overcrowding. These things don't seem to matter in the context of business, but they do have a negative impact. They can devalue locations, which makes them less appealing to tourists and can cause damage, which requires repairs. In the picture here, these are the Spanish Steps in Rome, a place famous for being in many movies. When they trended in 2016, tourists flocked to the location, littering and vandalizing and blocking the way, until a ban was issued preventing tourists from sitting on the steps. Over-tourism is not exclusively a social media problem, but it is perpetuated by the way social media handles trends and is something that needs to be addressed in our solution.
A solution that we have came up with is called the influencer marketing strategy. This is a strategy businesses use, and it identifies people who have a strong influence over a target market. 3 thoughts businesses should consider before partnering with the right influencer is how well that influencer aligns with the topic of their brand or company, how big the audience size is or how old they are for the target market, as well as the influencer's ability to drive measurable engagement with their within their audience. As you can see from this chart, on Instagram, the most engaging advertising audience is from ages 18 to 34. So with this information, businesses should find influencers with the audience between these ages. The benefits and limitations of our solution is that some of the benefits are that since influencers use a lot of social media, they would know the best social media platforms to use. They would also have somewhat of a respected audience and a more engaged audience as well as having a strong persuasive effect over them. Limitations include, since it is a relatively new strategy, there is a risk of hurting companies. Also, another limitation is the time spent to find the right influencer could also affect how much the time a business has to find one. The lack of control over influencers' audience also is a limitation, as businesses have no control over someone's opinion on their own company.
One alternative solution that we considered was for companies and influencers specifically to only as surfing, ziplining, and whitewater rafting. Many attractive destinations have features that allow these activities, but we ultimately decided not to use it because of the downsides, which were quite large. One large downside that we found was that it was very common for companies to not be environmentally friendly, and even if they claimed to be, they would be doing stuff that still harms the environment, because even building structures hurts the environment. Another downside we found was that a lot of activities that tourists like to partake in aren't friendly for the environment, such as whale watching. A lot of the boats that companies use to watch whales aren't very friendly for the environment.
And another solution that we thought of that should be incorporated is ecotourism. So ecotourism is a form of socially aware traveling that emphasizes minimal damage on the environment, usually involving a small group of tourists going to some local community and helping them out. And most of the revenue from this type of tourism goes to those communities. It has a lot of benefits, especially to the environment, but also people who do ecotourism say that it's more fulfilling an experience. However, people who are looking for leisurely or relaxing vacations might not like this. And there's also less variety of destinations people can choose to go to, because a lot of popular destinations are environmentally unfriendly. Thank you.
Okay. Right.